Oh, welcome back to the old temperature roller coaster. After 65 degrees yesterday, heading for the mid-20s tonight. And it's going to be a chilly weekend, but we do have changes on the way. It's going to be much milder next week. We're talking highs in the lower 70s, and then the possibility of soaking rain starting Monday evening or night, and then several more rounds of some locally heavy rainfall. And you really can't even rule out the threat of severe weather, although it looks marginal. So let's take a look at the big pictures. We see storm systems on top of storm systems populating much of the eastern and central Pacific, and they're all heading for North America and will impact us in some way, shape, or form, or you'll get us something that spins around one low and that becomes the primary low. But lining up for a stormy pattern and a wet pattern across much of the Gulf Coast as we head into next week. Now, across the U.S. today, we got the first system impacting California, the threat of heavy rainfall, big snows in the Sierra. They'll take that. A little snow in the Pac Northwest, Northern Rockies, and still cold air. That low pressure system moving out to sea, producing lake effect snows in the lee of lakes Michigan, Ontario, Erie, Huron as well, and even Superior at that point. And then locally here, well, we're in the severe clear, but the pressure gradient is packed. These lines of equal pressure tying back to that ridge of high pressure to the north. So we've had a breezy day today. Breeze stays with us tonight and brings wind chills down into the mid to upper teens by tomorrow morning. Hard freeze warnings in effect for tonight and tomorrow night across all of Acadiana, with the exception of the coastal marshes and St. Mary Parish. But it's going to be close to hard freeze for most of us. It's not going to be anything what we saw earlier this week, where we saw teens and single-digit wind chills. This is going to be about 5 to 10 degrees milder, so not as bad, but you'll certainly need to protect the pipes, plants, people, and pets for sure. So cold and breezy through tomorrow morning. Temperatures upper 20s, mid to upper 20s, wind chills in the teens. And then it's going to be a breezy and cold Saturday. Temperatures only get into the mid 40s. We make another round back down into the 20s tomorrow night. But look at this cloud cover coming in pretty quickly towards Sunday morning. That may halt some of the chilling. And then as we head into Sunday afternoon, cloudy, temperatures hard pressed to make 50 degrees. But that's going to change as our winds turn around out of the south. Out ahead of this next system. Notice we'll be in the 40s come Monday morning and heading for the upper 60s Monday afternoon. And by Monday night, rain and storms on the way. This is for 4 a.m. Tuesday, then another round possible into Tuesday, then another round possible into Wednesday, another round possible into Thursday. So it's going to be a wet, unsettled period before things settle down. Hopefully that'll be by next weekend. As for rainfall, the models are still hot and bothered with about a 2 to 5 inch rainfall here shown on the Euro model. And again, model data, what happens in the real world could be something else. And again, you always got to watch when the model starts showing a foot of rain somewhere. And the GFS does the same, showing us a good maybe 4 to 6, maybe 4 to 8 inch rainfall. This is accumulation over a week's period. It's not all going to come at once, but it is a red flag that we could see some localized flooding. And then we look at the Weather Prediction Center, the folks that make these forecasts for a living, and they're calling for pretty much 4 to 7 across much of Louisiana and just about all of Acadiana as well. So be ready for the wet stuff. Drought is going to be gone. Hopefully this is going to be good for the crawfish because it's going to be wet and muddy. Temperatures tonight, though, on the other end of the spectrum, low to mid 20s for the northern parishes will favor mid 20s I-10 quarter. 27, 28 looks to be a very popular number across the region by tomorrow morning. And again, you got to factor in that wind, so the wind chills will be down in the teens most spots, mid-teens as you get into northern portions of Acadiana. And then the wind chill stays in the 30s most of the day tomorrow in spite of the sunshine, so it's going to be cold. Wind chills tomorrow night back down into the 20s, probably staying out of the upper teens, though, by Sunday morning. Here are the temperatures tomorrow afternoon, low to mid 40s across the board. And tomorrow night we'll see readings getting back down into the low to mid 20s for the northern parishes, mid to upper 20s elsewhere. And tomorrow night could be a degree cooler than tonight with less wind, so definitely a better chance at a frost as well come Sunday morning. So cold, wind chilly night ahead, 27 the low, wind chills in the teens by tomorrow morning. And just want to maybe sleep in late for that. Sunny, breezy, and a cold day. Temperatures in the mid 40s, winds relaxing later in the day. And let's move it into that 10-day forecast, because after this weekend, it's a spring forecast, but a good chance of rain developing late Monday, especially Monday night at 100%, 80 to 90% Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday before rains diminish or or decrease as we head into the following weekend. But look at those highs, lower 70s and nighttime lows in the 60s. That's it for weather. We'll have more coming up right after the break.